that the sweetness of Braj Ras is so high, why has he not given that Ras to everyone? The question came up. So first, Nard gave the answer. Oh, according to the type of sadhana, according to the type of sadhana that you do, that's the goal that you obtained. Because you wanted this particular type of gati, means destination. You did sadhana, Bhagavan gave it to you. So everybody's happy with that. Yeah, that sounds good. Right? But you just said there is a superior type of seva and praying for Bhagavan. And even though Bhagavan gave everybody what they wanted, if he knew there was something better, why he didn't give it? So then Nard said, well, because every person who did bhajan or sadhan to obtain a certain gati, a certain goal, they are happy with that goal. They're not feeling any deficiency. In the heart of that sevak, no sense of deficiency comes because Bhagavan is Purna. So if your Ras is in a particular way, you are Purna Sukh in that Ras. Purna Sukh means completely happy in that Ras. Right? That's why in Chaitanya Charitamrita it says, Tatashta vicharale taratam. Only from a neutral position you can analyze the Rasas. You understand? Yeah. So from the position of like a philosopher or as a sadhak, you could look. But anybody who's in Sakyaras, anybody who's in Vaikuntha praying, do they think I'm missing something? No. They don't feel that way. But Gokumar is asking the question still to clarify this thing. And finally says, yes, that may be. But it doesn't erase the fact that all scriptures say that of all rasa, Braj Ras is so much more pleasing to Bhagavan. And in Braj Ras, the Ras of Gopis is so pleasing. And in that Ras, the exchange between Bhagavan and Radhika is supreme. So I want to know why everybody didn't get that Radhagasya. So then Narada Muni said, okay, look, grasshopper, let me explain to you in simple terms. Vachitra lila sha bhavasha koti ganashasya vachitra tatta ruchi dhana lila prabhu utkayatum vibhutim prabhu kaha. He told, listen, prabhu kaha means, what can we say? Krishna himself is independent. He's also Rasavai Saha, Akila Rasamrita Murti. Because Krishna is himself the embodiment of Ras, he has Vichitta Tat Tat Ruchi Dhanalila. He's given a particular type of ruchi in the heart of every single jiva in order to taste that Ras in that jiva. So it's Krishna's desire that everybody has a different Ras and that he can exchange that Ras and therefore he will become happy. So then after that he looked at Gopaman, okay, any problem with that one? No, I'm exaggerating now. I'm extending my own tika into the transcendental realm. So don't erase that part. Like in court, they say, strike the following comment. Okay? But you can imagine.
Inadmissible.
Inadmissible. But you can imagine. Now, Narada would say, hey, Prabhu Kaha, what else is there to say? Krishna's independent and he's also Rasik. Because he's Rasik, he put a particular taste in every jiva. And now Krishna's enjoying the taste with that jiva. Any problem? Right? No. Because pure bhakti is anya bilashita sunya. It is anya abilas, sunya. It is devoid of any personal desire. So if Bhagavan is happy, is that pure bhakti? And because Krishna is Akila Samrita Murti and his reciprocation is purna, perfect and complete, if you're serving in any ras, will you be completely happy? Yes. Now, from a neutral position is Madhurya Ras, and especially in Madhurya Ras, the jiva's highest attainment is Radha Dasyam or Manjari Seva. Is that a fact?
Yes.
Yes. Now, even to go one step further. But Krishna said, observing this argument between Gopkumar and Narada Muni, he said, hey, but Nard, you didn't tell him one thing else. I've not shortchanged anybody. Why? Why he's not shortchanged anybody? Because anybody like Uddhav, who went to Braj and he saw the glory of Brijabasis and the glory of Gopis, especially hearing Brahmar Geet from Radhika, heard the elevation and thought, oh, what's that verse? Vrindavane kema gumulata shodinam. That I want to become even like a blade of grass in Braj, seeing the glory of these gopis and hearing Radhika's Brahmar Geet. So he said, I'll do you one better. I'll actually let you come and taste what it's like to experience this Braj Ras. Therefore, Prem Naiva Goparamanam Kamam Iti Agamat Pratam Udava Adayo Apietam Vajanti Bhagavat Priya. Not only you, but all the devotees from previous incarnations, they can come and taste Braj Ras. Where? We're all going to Vrindavan. No. I myself didn't even know the height of Braj Ras while I was in Braj. Krishna is saying this. I also didn't know the height of Braj Ras. Because observing the love of Radhika, I myself became bewildered and I wanted to know what is Radhika's love myself. Therefore, Purva Vrajavilase 18 Abilas. Even during the time I was in Braj, previously, I was also left with 3 desires. What is Radhika's love? Shri Radha Pranaya Mohima. Also, what is the way she experiences my Madhuri? Krishna has 4 sweet Madhuris. Radhika experiences them in a special way. How does she experience them and Shokyam Chasya? What kind of happiness does she get from that? I also couldn't realize that in Krishna Lila. But I'm having another Lila. The sequel to this Krishna Lila I'm having also. And in that Krishna Lila, I will myself get to taste those moods as Sachinandan Gaura Hari. And I'm inviting all the devotees from the previous incarnations headed by Uddhava. Uddhava Adayo means headed by Uddhava to come into Gaur Lila. And in Gaur Lila, by Visesh Dasyaras, means a special kind of Dasyaras to Mahaprabhu, they can taste the intensity of Braj Prem. So Krishna did not leave anybody short. This is the beauty of Gaur Lila. So in Gaur Lila, they tasted the intensity of the sweetness. So they said, but wait a minute. We don't get to go to Ras Lila. Yes, you do. Whereas the gopis even had trouble getting to Ras each night. Because according to the status of that gopi, they may be blocked by their husbands, anything. Freely. Anybody who was qualified among my previous associates from other incarnations, you could freely come to Ras Lila every night. Where? At the Srivasangam. So the Kirtan Ras in Srivasa's house was Ras Lila in Mahaprabhu's Lila. So all those devotees who came to Srivasangam, they were tasting the intensity of Braj Prem in that Kirtan Rasa Lila. You understand? So Mahaprabhu did not short anybody. He gave everybody. This is why he's Ododja Lila, means magnificent. He gave everybody the chance to taste the intensity of that kind of prem. This is the beauty of Mahaprabhu's Lila. So this way, every single person ultimately gets to taste that highest kind of Lila by the mercy of Mahaprabhu. Now Krishna not only wanted to taste it, but then the idea would be, if I become absorbed in tasting the Lila, how will I know I tasted it? You understand? Because in order for me to taste Radhika's mood, I have to give up my own identity and personality and fully become immersed in the mood of Radhika. Is it true or not? Yes. How Krishna will taste Radhika's mood if he does not become absorbed in that mood? But Krishna is very tricky. So he said, look, I got to find a way. I want to see this. Right? Like what we do is we take selfies. So the transcendental selfie of Krishna's Leela, when he tastes the mood of Radhika, is he looks at it through the eyes of Lord Jagannath. You understand? Therefore Krishna comes as Jagannath, and with huge eyes, he's watching himself tasting the moods of Radhika. You understand? Krishna's amazing thing. Understand? So now he can see, so now it's like having your cake and eating it too. You understand? Perfectly. So in this way, every single jiva, from beginning, I described to this devotee the jiva's sojourn into this world, how it happens. Then, how that jiva unfolds according to the nature of their Sukriti Samskars, the particular practice they pick up. Then whatever their original Gata Samskar means, their original impression is, ultimately they'll get the Sangha and practice suitable to bringing out that particular Ras. Right? In that particular Ras, they'll feel complete satisfaction, but Mahaprabhu is so merciful, he gives to all devotees. He gave to Hanuman that Ras. How? as Murari Gupta. He gave to Uddhava as Paramananda Puri. Huh? He gave to the Pandavas, right? Because afterwards, after hearing Bhagavad Gita, everything, and all of that, they also, oh, this is an amazing thing, how Krishna separated from Braj. I'm not telling all that Katha tonight. But what they did was say, look, Mahabharat, in one form, they apparently went to Swarga and all these different things. In reality, Raghunath Das Goswami realized where they went. Where did they go? They went to Radhakund, and on the bank of Shamakund, they were there as trees, like Uddhava was there, so many blades of grass, doing bhajan to get Braj praying. Uddhavkund. You understand? So they stood as trees. Raghunath Das Goswami realized it because in his swapna, in his dream, they came and told, hey, don't cut down any trees over here. We're doing bhajan over here. Right? To get this same Braj praying. So they came as the sons of Bhavananda Roy. You understand? And Arjuna, because he had heard so much of the Harikatha of Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, he heard the deep moods of separation, he also entered the same body of Ramananda Roy with whom?
Arjuna
Vishaka. Therefore, and Arjuna Gopi as well. Yeah? Therefore, in that body, in the Gambhira, right, by the Parikar, Sayuja it's called, when two associates in one body, by that distant associate, Arjuna is also present there. But we don't speak that because there's some rasa loss in that idea. You understand? Hard to speak. But Gaur Ganesh Devika has clearly mentioned that Ramananda Roy is Arjuna and Visakha is etc. You understand? So in this way, right, they also came into Gaur Leela and they also were tasting this mood.
There's some confusion about it. So I'm having a difficult time understanding. So, like you're saying, Uddhava, these people are tasting Vrajras. So I'm wondering, why aren't they? If they're tasting Vrajras, they must be tasting, wow, this is so much more wonderful than what I was tasting prior to this.
This is the meaning, literally, of Audurja and Madhurja. In the Madhurja Rasa of Krishna in Braj, it is Madhurja. It is exclusive to the Swarup of every Jiva participating in that Leela. You understand? So Uddhava's position there is as Krishna's confidant. Krishninam Paravo Mantri. Right? Mantri means like a confidant. He fully feels indebted in that position, being Krishna's cousin and confidant. This is my everything. Only after hearing Brahma Gita, he had the sentiment of how glorious are these Brijabasis, and how glorious are the gopis among them, and how glorious is Radhika's prema among it. So I wish to taste the intensity of that kind of prema. He never had a desire to give up being Uddhava. How glorious is Uddhava? In Uddhav Sandesh means Krishna was once in a roof in Mathura. Gacha Uddhava Somyam Priti Pitaro Priti Abaha Mad Gopi Viyogadim Mat Sandeshar Vimochaya. Once when Krishna was on the roof in Mathura, he called to Uddhava, "Oh gentle Uddhava, I want you to go to Braj. Pitaro Priti Abaha." Pitaro in Sanskrit is plural for parents, our parents. Oh Uddhava, you go, and Priti Abaha means to show affection and console our parents. So by saying our parents, he took Uddhava, me and you are like brothers, we're like the same. Yeah. What I'm feeling, you can completely feel. This is the mood he took with Arjuna on the Valley of Kurukshetra. So this is one nature in Krishna. His heart became so taratmik with Uddhava, he said, Pitaro Prityava, show to our parents. Are Yashoda and Nanda the mother and father of Uddhava? No, Devabab, and I forgot his mother's name. He has his own parents. But Krishna said this because his heart was at that time, you are so close to me, and like none different. These are our parents. But he told them, but you will not be able to comfort the gopis. Tell them my message. Only Mat Sandashar, my Sandesh, my instruction, you tell them that. But how about Krishna's instruction? Could it pacify gopis? No. Even Krishna's instruction could not pacify. Say to Arjuna, Uddhava, don't even try. But when you hear the whole Uddhava Sandesh, it's very amazing. Because when Uddhava was getting prepared, Krishna kept thinking different things throughout the process. So he told Uddhava, get prepared to go. So Uddhava called his chariot. And the guy said, wait. Don't use that chariot. Take mine. So then he said, okay, we'll take your chariot. No, wait. He went to his closet. He pulled down his own clothes that he had worn. And he dressed Uddhava in his own clothes. So that the fragrance of Krishna's body would then emanate from Uddhava. You understand? Then he told, when you go, you should go by this road. And as you come into Braj, you should pull your chariot up, let the dust settle. Because people will hear a chariot coming. And they'll wonder, is Krishna returning? Is Krishna returning? You don't want to make them so excited that they give up their lives. Because what will happen, you don't know Brijavasi's nature. If you pull your chariot too fast and too much dust is flying, they'll be so anxious to see you, and not being able to see you, they'll give up their lives. So when you pull in, allow the dust to settle. Then pull your chariot forward a little bit. So all these instructions are there in Uddhav Sandesh. There's one book, Uddhav Sandesh. So it's not just he told him to go to Braj. He told everything in minute detail. He gave his own prasadi call, everything. You understand? And then he also gave Divya Darshan of Braj in Sambhog. So it means when Uddhava arrived in Braj, he saw Braj like it was when Krishna was present. Right? Because there's two prakos. Prakos means different chambers. So when he first pulls into Braj, he hears all the cows mooing and happy. There's cooking going on. There are people walking around, follow, selling fruit and vegetables. Everything is going on just like Braj. So he says, it's almost like Krishna is here. Right? And then Krishna took that darshan away and showed to Uddhava what is Braj in separation. Why did he show him what it's like when he's there? Because that way he could have some sense of what was going on. You understand? Just like you want somebody to know your story, you could tell it to them, but if you had the way to show them what you went through, would that not be more impressive? More powerful? To give somebody that experience? You understand? So he gave that experience to Uddhava. Now Uddhava having come out of, because when you have meeting and then separation comes, now you can appreciate what is separation. Part of our problem is we've never really met Krishna. So our separation is not very developed. But from whom can we have separation now? Guru. Shri Guru. Because Guru you saw. Guru touched your head. Guru spoke kind words to you. He showed you so much love and affection.
I'm still unclear on that point, actually. I don't understand how it's possible for someone to experience that such high ecstatic love and then just walk away from it.
No, not walking away. Their swarup is never given up. So they have two swarup. One swarup in Braj Lila and one swarup in Gaur Lila. Swarup Vyuha. It means that they have one form in Gaur Lila, one form in Krishna Lila. So in Gaur Lila, they're tasting the intensity. If you look in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami quotes this verse and then gives a comment on it. He says they tasted the intensity of Braj Prem. Because their dasyaras towards Mahaprabhu in Odoja Lila gives the intensity of that kind of prem. So what Lila did they experience it in? All the Leelas, but especially in the Kirtan Rasa Lila. You understand? When they were doing Kirtan, the kind of intensity of the feelings that the gopis had in dancing Ras with Krishna, they felt in Kirtan. Understand?
So when Vaikuntha people hear Ras Lila, what do they think? They think
Vaikuntha people, then another thing about Ras Lila.
you hear about it, but I can't do that. Like Lakshmi cannot.
Like Lakshmi Devi. Even so, if Lakshmi Devi is the epitome of what is Vaikuntha Prem, she could not digest the Paramore-hood of gopis. Gurudev tells the story, they said, oh, can you make cow dung patties? Well, that's not really something I do. I mean, quite frankly, I have servants in Vaikuntha. But anyways, I mean, once in a while, experience is unique. Okay, bring the dung. Right? Then they asked, hey, well, can you, milk a cow, any of that kind of stuff? And she said, well, I mean, don't the men milk cows here or something? When I get the milk and I raise the cooking, I don't do any milking or anything. But if it's necessary to get the taste right, I'll also milk the cow. Oh, okay. Can you leave Lord Narayan and marry one gope and have an affair with Krishna? Oh, no, not possible. Not possible.
But-
So then they told,
Yeah.
oh, then you have to do bhajan. So then she went to Bailban, and in Bailban she began to do very deep tapasya and austerities to try to develop that mood. So I said, hey, look, I understand how deep your austerities was, so I'm giving you the blessing. You can also taste the intensity of this Braj Prem. You will not give up being Lakshmi Devi, but you will also taste this Braj Prem. How? She became Lakshmi Priya in Gaur-lila. But she could not stand separation. So when Mahaprabhu went to East Bengal to teach, then she was bitten by the snake of separation and gave up her life. But Mother Bhumi, the earth, can tolerate so many things. So Mahaprabhu's next wife is the incarnation of Bhumi Devi, is Vishnu Priya. Because Lakshmi could never have stood Mahaprabhu taking sannyas. Even going away to preach, she gave up her life. You understand? But Bhumi Devi tolerates so much separation from Bhagavan. You understand? So she came as Vishnu Priya, and though she was only 12, 14 years old, maybe, when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, she never saw Mahaprabhu again. Understand? Sachi Ma could have darshan, but could Vishnu Priya have darshan and Mahaprabhu came back? No.
Yeah.
So the question is, they don't give up.
So then when, but there's Vaikuntha sky full of Lakshmis and Narayans.
Right.
What do they know about Rasa? I remember a long time ago someone said, you asked the question, how many people know about Radha Krishna? Even us.
Yes.
So what do the Vaikuntha people think of when they hear? They think
Vaikuntha Vasis, their absorption does not
they're
accommodate.
satisfied with their own
They're sad
lives.
completely. Plus, there's so much absorption there in the nature of Vaikuntha. And a good look at it would be to go to any Bulok Vaikuntha. What is Bulok Vaikuntha? Has anyone ever been to South India?
Yeah.
You've been to South India. So you go to Sri Rangam. How many things are they absorbed in all day long, day and night? Guru Vayu, you go to Guru Vayu as well. There's so many festivals things. So they're so absorbed in their seva, in their mood, that it doesn't enter their minds. They're absorbed in Lakshmi Narayan seva. Right? Even the gate gods of Vaikuntha, there are 8 gates, I believe, and there's 2 on each door. Bhadra, Subhadra, Datta, Vidatta, on the western gate, Jai and Vijay. So on each different gate gods. And they're absorbed in Harikatha all day long about the glories of Narayan. They never tire. Therefore, they never sleep. Anything like this. So Vaikuntha is not a shortage. And I think, hey, did you hear about the stuff going on in Golok? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get to go there. You know? Yeah, man, I don't know, man. And then they form a union, the Yellow Vest of Vaikuntha. You get it? Go, hey, some issues here. Right? We didn't get to go to the Ras Leela thing. We heard about it. Nobody really bought it here. And you and Lakshmi never dancing in public with other Lakshmis, or we don't see these things. So we have some issues here. We want to know what's going on. We heard it's like that. And we would like to know, when we're going to get a chance to go. No, it doesn't happen like that. They're completely absorbed. So many savers to do. Like I said, even Bulok Vaikuntha, like any temple, Sri Rangam, right? Udupi. Also.
So what is this that they're tasting? It's still not clicking.
What they're tasting? They're tasting the particular rasa, right? Rasa of their particular sthai bhav. Everyone has a sthai bhav. That sthai bhav is the constitutional, eternal relation that you have with Krishna. That sthai bhav produces ras. Therefore, it becomes bhakti rasa, right? So if it's in dasya, it becomes dasya bhakti rasa. Rasa has ingredients, right? As I mentioned before. Anubhavs, well, vibhavs first, then anubhavs, then satvika bhavs. They exist in Vaikuntha, they also exist in Braj. They also exist in Dwarka. So according to that sthai bhav, they have a relationship with Krishna. What Ordorja means is that, look, okay, everybody, you have your rasas and everything, but everybody give up everything, and when you come into Gaur Leela, I'll let you taste the intensity of Braj Ras, right? And so everybody's happy. So nobody needs to give up their particular Ras in Vaikuntha, in Ram Leela, right? Because Hanuman, he's there in Krishna's Leela, he's sitting on the flag of Arjuna. He also heard Bhagavad Gita. but he stayed cool. He didn't break down, sweat, faint, or anything on the flag. Because his Ishtadev is Ramachandra. So he thought, wow, this is far out. This is really nice. I'd like to check out some of the stuff you're talking about. Because he can understand the codes. So I'd like to get into that. That sounds very deep. So, okay. So when I come as Mahaprabhu, you can come as Murari Gupta. Oh, cool. Cool. I'll be there. But Hanuman didn't get too excited. He didn't jump off the flag and faint or anything. Or get excited, burn the flag up.
No, but the Madhva Sampradaya say that Bhima is really the hero because he never doubted. He always wanted to fight. So the Bhagavad Gita was actually spoken to Hanuman in the flag. Bhima was previously Hanuman.
Yeah, some people say only 4 people
and I
heard.
said, come on, he's speaking to Arjuna.
Yeah. Some people say only 4 people heard. Babarik, Sanjaya, Arjuna, and Hanuman. Babarik was Ghatakach, was Bhima's son. Ghatakach, his son, was Babarik. He was one of the greatest warriors of all time. And if he had fought in the battle, nobody would have fought because he would have just wiped everybody out. So what he did was, when he found out it was there and he wanted to be on the side of Krishna, he said, and the Pandavas were the underdogs on paper. And it's like you have teams, and on paper, one team is the underdog. On paper, they were the underdog. Because the Kauravas had Krishna's army. So they had Bhishma, Drona, and Krishna's whole army and everything. So on paper, they look like the other, and Krishna's not even fighting. He's just going to drive the chariot. So then Babarik made a statement, I will fight on the side of any underdog to bring victory. So when he made that vow, he didn't realize that if Arjuna and Krishna should start to win, who would then become the underdog? The Kauravas. But now he spoke the vow, so he was stuck. So then he said, there's no way to get out of this vow. So then Krishna said, look, one way to get out of the vow is if you give up the body. Because your body is the tool you'll use to execute your vow. So Babarik gave up his body, but he prayed, look, but I don't want to miss the battle. It's the Super Bowl of all battles. I want to see it. Understand? So he said, okay, just give me your head. So he put Babarik's head on top of a mountain where Babarik could see the whole battle and see everything going on. He didn't take part. And then to Sanjay, like the view, yeah. And like Sanjay, he was a disciple of Vyas, highly qualified disciple. So Vyas gave him Divya Darshan, that he could see the whole battle. Because what happened was, when Dhritarashtra was there, Vyasadeva had gone to tell him, look, what are you doing? Don't do this. You should tell Duryodhana to stop this nonsense, everything. And he couldn't listen. So Vyasadeva was kind of, okay, have at it. So then he said, but I'm blind. I won't be able to tell. I said, look, he's my disciple. I'm giving him power, giving him blessings. He can see the whole thing. He'll tell you what's happening blow by blow. And Vyasadeva left. And then Sanjaya, he was very happy because now, by the blessings of Vyasadeva, he not only saw the battle, but what did he hear? He heard Bhagavad Gita, but he heard it. That's why at the end, he makes his own statement. Wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, the best of all archers, there'll be victory. He started getting excited. So nobody ask you all that, man, especially my sons have all been killed. All my sons have been killed and everything. You sit up here talking about wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, they're getting all excited. So he got excited because, he's heard Bhagavad Gita now, and he got, Yeah, so he was still a little upset way after the battle. When they came by to apologize and everything, and they were going to embrace. Remember, they switched out and made clay versions of the Pandavas because they felt, look, if he's that upset, he may kill. So they brought one clay image of Bhima there, right? And Dhritarashtra embraced it. When he embraced the clay image, his anger came out and he crushed it, right? And then he became very remorseful, right? And they said, no, it was only the clay image. So then his heart calmed down because his anger was still there. You understand? So imagine Sanjay sitting in there. Yes, and wherever there's Krishna and Arjuna, and this is after all the sons are dead and everything, right? There's going to be victory because he had narrated the whole battle, what was going to happen and everything, right? So he's all hyped up anyway. Any other questions?
Back in the beginning of the Jiva, in the Paramatma Sandarbha also, the Jiva Goswami says, the blank slate Jiva also has karma stuck. There's not blank, but there's always eternally has karma stuck to it.
Yes.
To the Buddha Jiva. It's always there.
Yes.
So
The Jiva is Anadi Avidya Yuktasya. One verse is there in Bhagavatam. that his conditioning is anadi. In Navanyaya means like the logic that Mahaprabhu used to use when he would talk to people is called Navanyaya. Navanyaya means the new logic, right? So, for instance, he would get into an argument with somebody, and Mahaprabhu would say, "What's your point?" The person would give their point. Mahaprabhu would defeat it. I say, "Wow, yes, that's true." Then Mahaprabhu would defeat his own argument. You understand? And then the person said, "Wow, I was right." Then Mahaprabhu would defeat it again. Like, so this is called Navanyaya, where you can just go on and on with logical points, defeating one after another. So in that Navanyaya, there's one thing called Pragabhav. Pragabhav means, it's like describing, the best way to have it, because if you haven't seen Nyaya, it's hard. So the jiva is described as samsarga in the Sandarbha, samsarga bhava maya yuktoina. It means that the condition that the jiva has always been there. There was never a time when he knew something and then forgot it. You understand? It wasn't like I knew who I was, then when Maya came I forgot it, and then I'll remember it again. So samsarga bhava maya means the condition of not being aware of yourself was already there. There was no prior non-existence of this condition. You understand the point? We were always conditioned. So then the person could say, well, if I was always conditioned, how is it that I'm the eternal servant of Krishna? So listen carefully to Mahaprabhu's answer to Sanatana Goswami part in Sanatana Siksha. In Sanatana Siksha, Sanatana Goswami says, who am I? Mahaprabhu gives a two-part answer. The first part, Jivera Sarvapoye Krishnera Nitya Das. By constitution, you're the eternal servant of Krishna. Jivera Tatashta Shakti Bhed Abhed Prakash. But in your condition, because you're the Jiva Shakti, though you're simultaneously one and different, right? You, because of that difference part, can be subject to the influence of Maya. Because the difference is that you are not all-powerful. Therefore, Maya can influence you. Because of your marginal nature. Tatashta means marginal. Right? So, some jivas, in their very inception, they're endowed with chitbal. Chitbal means full cognition. And they never come to the material world. Some jivas come to the material world with a lack of chitbal. So then the argument arises, well, how did they come here? Well, why did they come here? So then our acharya said, look, okay, you looked this way, you saw the material world, you looked that way, you saw the spiritual world, and you made the wrong choice. Right? So because there's no words to really explain it. But factually, Shastra says, Anadi Avijja Yukta Shah. It's all from time. Anadi means no beginning. So when you manifest it, period, your manifest existence is Anadi Avijja Yukta. Avijja means connected to ignorance from time without beginning. Now, in logic, there are four categories. I don't get too technical. One category is called Anadi. The word Anadi means there's no beginning, but there is an end. You understand? There's no beginning to your conditioning, but there is an end. When does the end of your conditioning come? When you meet Guru. You understand? Ananta means there is a beginning, but there is no end. So does your spiritual life have a beginning?
Yeah.
Yes, when? When you meet Guru. Then you start the process of bhakti. Does it have an end? We went over. No. Now from this point it goes on and on. You can't reverse it now. You can slow it down, you can do everything, but it's ananta. Now it's forever and ever. You're on the path now. You can make believe you're in Maya again, but you'll never be able to successfully be completely absorbed in Maya. Because in the background will be Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Right? It used to be, devotees used to try to bloop. Say, I'm going to go to the movies or something. You go to the movies, in the movie, Hare Krishna, Kirtan parties in the movie. Something, you understand? Right? Or as you're going in the movies, right, to see the movie, you put on the karmi hat, you got everything, you got your coat, you got the hat pulled down, everything, right? And just so happens that as you're getting ready to go in, ching, 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 and it starts getting louder, right? And you start trying to ease up in the crowd, duck a little bit here and there. Haribol Prabhu!
I've seen that before.
Haribol Prabhu! You know? So once it gets started, it's done. So this is called Ananta. Let me just finish this one point. Huh? So this is called Ananta. So then there is Anadi, Ananta, Nitya. Nitya means it's eternal. So what is eternal? That you are the servant of Krishna is eternal. It was always there. And it always will be. You just have to realize it. And then there's Anitya. Anitya means the material world. It's never been an eternal reality. It's always been temporary, just manifest and unmanifest. These are the four kinds of things used in logic in Vedanta to describe the condition of a jiva. His conditioning is anadi. It has no beginning, but it will come to an end once he comes in contact with spiritual life. His spiritual life is ananta. Once it starts, it's forever. His nature, his constitutional reality as servant of Krishna is nitya. Right? It was always there. He just didn't realize it. It always will be in the future. And his connection with the material world is anitya. It is completely temporary and not eternal. Yeah? So this is how Vedanta looks at the four conditioned stages of a jiva. Not conditioned stages, the four things surrounding a jiva. His conditional life, his spiritual life, the eternal reality of his constitution, which is that he's Krishna Das, and his relationship with the material world is temporary.
And all Krishna's Leela.
Yes. Vedanta?
So, I had a little, discussion with Tripurari Maharaj about some of these things. And their idea,
How would
which
you take the question?
I'm not sure where it's coming from, but I'm assuming it's coming from Bhakti Bhaktishara Maharaj, is that there's different, Leelas of the Lord, and one of them is Srishti Leela, which is and those living entities that go take part in Mahavishnu's Srishti Leela. That's an eternal Leela. And therefore, like you said, it's beginningless. So there's no chance for anything. Those according to this, what he said, his idea, is that there's no looking, they go into that Leela, and that Leela is a Leela of compassion in the sense that the Lord comes into those jivas that are in the Srishti Leela. And by the Lord's mercy and the mercy of his devotees, they can go into Nitya Leela.
It's true. It's
so
true.
in other words, there is no looking.
There is no looking. That was a way to describe choice, because you cannot remove the content of free will from the jiva. So how will you explain free will in relation to the jiva's being here when he should be with Bhagavan? So then, in order to establish the necessity for recognizing that our free will has been misused, the whole idea of looking has been preached by the acharyas. You understand? But literally, the jivas, there is no looking at that. You manifest, this was it, what it is, kind of thing. But the jiva can't digest that, not every jiva, until some spiritual maturation comes. Because he can't understand what is Srishti. Everybody knows Srishti Leela? Srishti Leela means Krishna's pastime of creating a material world. That's also one Leela of Krishna. Jayavadharma, 16th chapter, clearly explains. So the Srishti Leela of Bhagavan is when he does the creation. Why does he do the creation? He does the creation because, for one, he has Shaktis that are not Parashaktis, like Radhika. He also has Shaktis like Durga Devi, etc., which are expansions. He associates with them through this Leela. He comes as Shiva, Shambhu, etc., associates with those Shaktis. Secondly, in order to show compassion, Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, right? 1 verse 10th canto about, also in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya Sadhunam. Now, who does Krishna come to the world for? To save all the jivas?
No, for the sadhus.
No, exactly. He comes for the devotees. Well, what do the devotees do in the material world? They came to save jivas.
They came what?
They came to save jivas.
No.
Sadhus.
Because the sadhu becomes overwhelmed by compassion. And therefore he goes and he wants to save and recruit jivas for the sake of Bhagavan. To please those servants, Krishna comes to give pleasure to them. You understand?
A very elaborate Srishti Leela is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela chapter 5, Balaram, Nityananda chapter.
How it works, yeah.
Cosmic, unlimited.
So everybody knows, jivas in the spiritual world, they manifest, in fact, in Vrindavan, they manifest directly from Baladev. The Shaktis manifest from Radhika. Right? The Kayavya of Radhika. All the other jivas, Krishna's mother, father, everything else, manifests from Baladev Tattva. Baladev did manifest as Shankarshan, Chatuvyuha comes. All of Dwarka, Mathura, Vasis manifest from that first Shankarshan. Second Shankarshan becomes Chatuvyuha and Vaikuntha. Right? All of Vaikuntha Vasis are manifest from that Shankarshan. Then, expansion of that Shankarshan becomes Purusha avatars, Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu. They become Krishna Shruti Lila, Purusha avatars. From them, all of the Injiva Tattva is situated there in Baladev, originally from Baladev Tattva, that in those Purusha avatars, the Jiva Tattva is situated in partial form. In other words, their cognition is not full. Those jivas manifest in the material world. Unless Chit Bal is applied to them, then they go right back to God, and they don't come into the material world. Prabhu?
Oh, what does Prabhupada mean when he says to revive your original Krishna consciousness? Because this is what I've heard a lot of devotees say on the other side of this topics. They say, well, they say Prabhupada said reviving our original Krishna consciousness. So that means we were fully Krishna conscious, and now we're just covered. So how do we understand that?
Very, very good question. One is that you've ever Krishna conscious at any time, that can't be lost. Remember, what is that verse? Na shato vijite bhavo, na bhavo vijite shataha. Ubhayarapi drishtoantas tuanyos tattvadarshi bir. The seers of the truth have concluded of that which is actually permanent, there is no cessation. So if your bhakti, if your Krishna consciousness has never been there, how could it then be lost? Secondly, really Krishna consciousness means having a loving relationship with Krishna, right? Is it correct? Being with Krishna means you're in a particular relationship, like Dasharas, Sakyaras, some relationship with Krishna, correct? Rupa Goswami's written, Savamsa, what is it? Savadamsa. Savasha Damsha Rahitam Yajapi Damsha Karane. Your Damsha means to break. The relationship you have with Krishna can never be broken. Savasha Damsha Rahitam Yajapi Damsha Karane. Even if there was a reason to break it, it could not be broken. Rupa Goswami is given this definition. Understand? So the relationship with Krishna can't be broken. Now, next point. If you were Krishna conscious at one time, you would have been with Krishna in the spiritual world, correct? Very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam says, Dhamma Swena Kuhakam Nirastam, that no Maya can enter the divine realm. So how did you get influenced to leave there? Because the only thing that can make you leave and come here is an illusion of some sort, some kind of Maya. What kind of Maya could enter the spiritual realm? So, if you read any of our Goswami's literatures, everything, and even Srila Prabhupada, clearly stating in the books that it's not possible to actually fall from relationship with Krishna. So now we come back, why would Prabhupada said use words like revive, so forth? Remember, the populace of the Western world was mostly what? Judeo-Christian population? Mm-hmm. And we had a concept that we were originally the sons and daughters of God, and we sinned and fell to this world through Adam and Eve, and that Jesus comes to revive us and take us back to our Father. So that narrative is easy to digest in the Western world. So then to couch Krishna consciousness in that, is there any fault in that? Because if Prabhupada started explaining Shristi Leela, Tashta Shah, he does later on in the books. Mm-hmm. But if he had started out telling everybody that, and everybody was already on LSD and everything else, could you imagine? Right? He said, yeah, Swami, I get it. I dig. Is it? It would not have been possible to digest that kind of Siddhanta. So Srila Prabhupada told, now, if somebody said, yes, I was originally Krishna conscious and I revived my Krishna consciousness, and you practice bhajan life like that, will you go back home, back to Godhead? I'm asking. Will you go back home, back to Godhead? Yes. Because essentially there's no harm in that, there's nothing wrong with the ideal. But if you try to establish that as Gaudiya Siddhanta, it becomes a fault. You understand? What if my Guru Maharaj comes and tells me, hey, listen, I know I remember you. your gopi name was this and you were there and you fell down here? What are you doing now? Playing basketball, going to college, all these different things. What are you doing? You should immediately start chanting Hare Krishna, get your gopi form back. If I went and I did serious bhajan and everything, would I get my gopi form? Yes. Because faith in Guru is everything. If I went and started saying the philosophy is we were all gopis and we all fell here, then it becomes a problem.
Prabhupada's example. Ice is by nature originally water. But there's ice in Antarctica or North. It's never been. But as soon as you bring heat, it becomes, what does it become? Anything else? Only water.
Yes.
That's its original nature. This is in Jayavardhana also.
Yes.
And another major thing, you cannot understand Jiva with the material, faulty mind and intelligence.
Logic, yes.
My joke, guy goes to a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist says, tell me about your dreams. Says, I can't because they're out of focus. Says, okay, tonight when you go to sleep, put your glasses on.
Using the words revive Krishna consciousness.
You get the idea. What if you're asleep and you're wearing glasses? Can you see dreams better?
No.
We'll go back. The faulty intelligence cannot understand the Jivatma.
Yes. So in here, and also it means constitutional. We'll give another example. If a diplomatic family travels to a foreign country for service, in that country they give birth to a child. Is the home of the child that country or is it America? Has the child ever been to America? No. But constitutionally and legally, where's its home? So if the child says, hey guys, I'm going back home, what's the reference? It's not a historical reference. It's a constitutional reference. Because by legality and everything, my home is actually America. My parents have a house there. I've not been there, but that's the constitutional reality. And when I say I'm going back home, right, it means for me, though I've never seen it, that is my home. Right? Just like I'm hoping one day somebody finds a thing that says, your father left you $1 million. You understand? To do so much service for Radha and Krishna and everything. Right? So, but I have not found it yet. I'm only joking. The last part's a joke. But you understand the reference there? Constitutionally, Srila Prabhupada spoke, we are all originally Krishna conscious. This is a constitutional reality, not a historical one. Because if you say it's a historical one, the doubt would come that you can be Krishna conscious and Maya can even overtake you when you're Krishna conscious. So Maya would be more powerful than Swarup Shakti or Bhakti itself, which is not possible.
I got it. When I was 14, 15, I went to a Jewish summer camp, and this Israeli group came to folk dance and songs from Israel to all the Jewish boys. And then they had a orator come up, and he was trying to recruit us to go back to Israel. And we'd never been there. My great-great-great-grandfather wasn't from Israel. But if you change your identity and think I'm more Jewish than American, then Israel is my home.
True.
Grandmother's same way.
True.
I just want to make one more comment, which is really the biggest mistake I think that devotees made was that when Srila Prabhupada was leaving this world, he made two requests. One is to take guidance from Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj and also from Srila Gurudev. I think those were the two most important instructions at the time when he was leaving that weren't followed, and therefore the devotees, because even if you could preach to devotees, and I've tried to go over many different ways with certain devotees in this kind, and it just goes out the other ear because but these devotees are realized, and therefore they haven't heard from them. They didn't follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions to hear from them, take guidance from them. And some did, and some understand, but the ones that didn't, which is mostly in ISKCON now.
But there are many, even in ISKCON also, there are many qualified devotees who understood all of these things. I mean, I heard from Swarup Damodar Maharaj, Gaura Govind Maharaj, Radha Govind Maharaj. I mean, just there's a lot. I can't name everybody, but there were a lot of devotees who knew. But it's just that it became a thing that, well, those who maybe did not know, right? it became who had the mantle of managerial authority as to what, because there's that tape where Gokul was asking, they voted on this idea of whether we fall or not fall.
Exactly.
You understand? And he gave warning, you should not do this.
No.
You should wait. You should really get everything clear, sedantically, everything else. So he said, no, right? And that caused some devotees to leave, and then it caused Satyanarayana Prabhu, who was in Islam at the time, to write the book with Kundali, Not Even the Leaves Fall from Vaikuntha. That spawned the book that was the opposite, our original position, which was academic research more than it was Siddhantic research. See, so that's what I'm saying. If it had remained a feeling that my Guru Maharaj told me I was originally Krishna conscious and I'm reviving it, if you practice bhakti according to that, you will go back to Godhead.
Just don't preach it to others.
Yeah, well, and don't establish it as a Siddhanta, because Srila Prabhupada didn't mean it as a Siddhanta. That's why then later on, when it became confusing, Srila Prabhupada wrote in the 7th canto, it should be understood that when Jai and Vijay came here, it was because there was some purpose to be performed for the Lord. Otherwise, it should be concluded what?
No one falls.
No one falls from Vaikuntha. He made that crystal clear.
So let me just tell you one story that, and this was around the time when I was trying to understand this, and I believe it was 96 in Vrindavan. And a friend of Kundali, I can't remember his name, Dhritarashtra, who was also in this class, and so he was giving that at the end of this class, his friend of Kundali, I think he co-wrote the book. He helped Kundali with this book, and Jayadvaita Swami was giving the class, and it came up with this, and he had lumped together this book as a Mayavad conception. So the devotee stood up and he told Jayadvaita Swami, he mentioned, said, well, I don't think this is Mayavad conception, this book not at least falls in the ground, because we're taking closer to Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas. So he's trying to speak like this in Vaishnava terms, and Jayadvaita Swami started getting very boisterous and loud, and finally he said, I have the microphone and I can speak louder than you. Okay, so this was a realization, it's a true story. And Dhritarashtra also remembers he was there. So when we were discussing this recently, me and him about it, and he said, yes, I was there also. And I said, this was the beginning of when I understood that they didn't really understand the Siddhanta. And then you commit offenses. To fall over yourself is one thing, but to offend other devotees, quoting Shastra and calling it Mayavad philosophy, I don't think Srila Prabhupada would be pleased with it.
They wanted to say that they had a special mission like Jai and Vijay, and we are avatars. It becomes really ugly. And,
But yeah, I mean, so I think one thing that has to be there is to understand Srila Prabhupada's reasoning behind giving it and everything and speaking like that, and then his own reconciliation of the actual Siddhanta in the book, and then the history, like you're mentioning, histories like this of what happened that created the confusion. So I would say to any devotee, do bhajan. That's why Prabhupada at one point wrote the, what is that, Tile and Crow logic, or whatever, that paper, because devotees started to get so bewildered by it. Says, look, do bhajan right now, because rather than trying to figure it out, right, you get all mixed up. Even though there's thousands of quotes from Srila Prabhupada in the books talking about the Tatastha Shakti, the Jiva coming from this, that, everything is there. But because remember, at the time, many devotees had not read everything, and even at that point, many devotees not understanding the Siddhanta had also taken a position of leaders. So it was a question of how do we create our own. There's so many things going on.
So I believe it was Satyanarayana Prabhu that had, spoke up at the end.
Yeah, it was, because he was there at this time one time. He's a very learned devotee.
Right. Yeah. So I was also going to see his classes, which were in the Gurukul room across.
Yeah.
And his classes are also very involved.
We're good friends to this day.
I believe this might have cost a break for him. This whole
I think so.
I think so. See him. I wanted to ask him.
But also, he did have association with Puja Pasha Haridas Sastry, and if you had an association with Haridas Sastry, that probably would have been a wrap for you with anybody, because he was so high class of Vaishnav,
In 66, we pestered Prabhupada with this, but how did we fall? Don't argue it, don't discuss it, don't debate it, don't speculate on it.
Yeah.
Don't argue about it.
And then Prabhupada says, I'm sorry.
And word for word, then when Shaiva Dharma came out, it said, this is exactly what Prabhupada. And also it's the policy, if a disciple doesn't understand something, he doesn't reject him, he says, okay, open a restaurant in Chicago.
Do
Get
something
60
else.
rounds with your wife
Yeah,
and
and you'll understand in due course of time.
buy a cow.
Because their Prabhupada also say, don't be concerned about how you fell, but be concerned how
How you
got
got
out.
it.
So many, yeah.
There's a story about.
But Prabhuji, anytime you can call me anything, and I could direct all the references to how everything actually works and how Prabhupada, the history of giving that statement, then showing what the Siddhanta is, everything. It's all there in Srila Prabhupada's book, so there was no absence of it. It's just that in the political course of things that unfolded, it got a little skewed different ways. You understand? And also remember, the use of English words have to be put in context to what was originally written in Sanskrit or Bengali. Right? So sometimes certain words don't translate well into English. But if you give a concept that's relatable to people, and Srila Prabhupada was masterful at being able to translate these concepts into English. Even the writings of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur are masterful. But would you be able to understand his writings easier than you can understand Srila Prabhupada's writing? No, I can't. Though I appreciate the Siddhanta of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and now I can understand many things regarding that, the way Srila Prabhupada couches things, especially given that time, everybody can pick up a book and become a devotee. You understand? Because it's clear. You can relate to certain things. It's clear. It's not so mired in philosophical concepts that are hard. Because I've read other Gaudiya books also. Sometimes it's very difficult to translate. Like, what is Ross in English? There's really no adequate comparison of a word. Srila Prabhupada used mellows and taste. Right? So even now, it's very difficult to really grasp what this Ross from that meeting. But, so I'm just using that to show an example. It's very difficult to translate concepts. So to translate the concept of the Jiva's eternality as a servant of Krishna, with his also being Tatashta Shakti, and having never experienced Krishna consciousness, but being an eternal servant, how to couch all of that, you have to really look in the books very clearly, very carefully, and preferably under guidance. It's all crystal clear. But great question. Really great, thoughtful question. Okay, one more because it's early.
Small little comment. There's a devotee, one of the first devotees on the West Coast, Narayan. What was his name? Narayan.
Satyanarayana?
Oh, Bhajanari.
No,
Satyanarayana.
early devotee. Anyway,
Narayan.
Narayan. So Narayan I'm having trouble with all these stories like the Garuda flying to other planets and a couple other things. I'm sure probably just keep saying that it'll come to you.
Exactly. All right, Dandavas devotees, thank you so much. I missed last week and I was just happy to be able to be here and be able to get here tonight. Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jai Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai Jai Shri Radha Govinda Ju ki Jai 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 Shri Radhe ki Jai. Tomorrow is the Avirbhav Tithi of Srila Bhakti Tirobhav, sorry. Tirobhav Tithi Mahotsav of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
And she's.
So there's a program here in the morning, and tomorrow in the evening. Is Uma Didi already here?
She's coming tonight at 9 or 10.
So Uma with Uma Didi tomorrow night.
And I think Shamarani Didi is doing something in the morning.
That's what I said. Tomorrow's program here, Shamrani Didi will be here and speaking tomorrow in the morning here. So Dandavad, Jai Vanchakalpaturubhischa, Kripashin Videvacha, Atitinapam Yavaishnavi, Namo Namaha.
You went out and I was telling you about the movie.
Uh-huh.
You know what that
I
is?
push that thing down. I think that's how you cut it off. Here you go. Oh, just came back off.
Down more?
Because
I just hold it, I guess. I don't know how it works.